Just like waving at everybody that comes on in. Wave. Wave. So again, if anybody new to my lives, welcome. I've been doing these now for about almost two and a half months. And I started back in December, I want to say. And this is kind of like I guess a coming out party for me and letting people in on my life and my experiences and my journey. I'm almost 30 years old and I've had a lot of life experience and a lot of things that I've learned. And, nothing I don't preach, it's one way or another. It's just kind of about being open-minded and conscious and aware of kind of your reality and what you're listening to, what you're putting in your body, what you're putting in your mind, what things you're giving your power to, what your energy to. And for me, 2018 was a year that it was all kind of clumped together and then shared in my reality that these are real life experiences. And not only did I learn them, but now I want to give back and let others learn them as well. So again, I've been doing this for a couple months. I do them every Monday at 8:30. I'm working on, again, getting some podcast equipment and really diving into a lot of topics, whether it's health, wellness, nutrition, hydration, detoxification, sleeping, mindset, business, anything that encompasses of which a lot of us endure during the day or during our lifetime. So tonight, I kind of wanted to go over something that's really helped me a lot. And, I haven't touched too much on it. I made a few posts lately about it, and it's three big things. And one is perspective, how you, perceive your life, what perspective, what reality, what mindset, what visualization do you see your life unfolding? Because everything is a perspective. You can look at something as a challenge in business, and someone else might look at it as an opportunity. Those are different perspectives. It's still the same thing, but my reality, my perception, my visualization is different than someone else's. And sometimes those get mixed up, and instead of working together and figure things out, we end up bumping heads and creating conflict. The whole duality, this or that, it's if you Democrat, Republican, all these things, and all it does is clash us with each other. But all it really is, if you stripped everything, it's just people's perspectives on things. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're on here looking and watching me and you're saying this guy's crazy, well, that's your perspective, and that's fine, because there's someone else on here that says, this guy's helped me a lot. So again, kind of be mindful of that and where your perspective is and how it's related to your life. Another thing, visualization. That's something, being an athlete growing up, visualization for me, and I didn't, do it as much as I like to and I wanted to, but it's such a powerful tool because, again, what you see in your mind first will then create your reality. And a good way to explain that is wherever you're at, maybe you're in your car, maybe you're at your home, maybe you're at your house, maybe you're still at work, wherever you are, look around and be aware that in order for that house to be built, it had to start with a thought. Even if you're watching on your phone, in order for an iPhone, a smartphone to be built, it had to start with a thought. Someone had to think, like Steve Jobs, he had to sit there and say, how can I put this in a phone in someone's pocket? That's a thought. That's all it is. That next thought created an idea, which created an action plan, which created a blueprint, which then created actual physical creation of a phone. And next thing you know, you're watching me. But if you think about it, the beginning of this phone or this house you live in started with a blueprint, started with a thought. So visualizing first in your mind allows you to see it in your reality. And it plays such a vital role in business, in lifestyle, in health and wellness, in sports, all these different facets. As long as you can visualize and get that down, you're going to have a pretty good chance of success, because as long as you can see it in your mind, you can see it in your reality. So perspective, visualization, and the last thing is meditation. And again, I'm very big on meditation. It's something that I never thought really was I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know how powerful it can be. And for me, my biggest resistance, because a lot of us have resistance to these kind of things, was it's hard for me to sit still. And it's hard for me to kind of get quiet and keep my mind from running, because I have so many ideas and I'm going to go guy. And, sometimes that takes you out of that present moment. And so meditation, it allows you not to just shut all that up, but again, to become aware of it and to sit with it and then to feel it and how can you improve from it. So those are kind of the three things I wanted to talk about. Again, I'll try to keep it under 30 minutes. If questions come up, fire them away. If I'm kind of in the flow, I'll kind of just do my best to answer that question, but no wrong question, no bad questions. And again, if there's something permanent that comes up and it keeps happening, DM me, shoot me a text if you have my number. If you're in the Orange County area, let's connect. But I just kind of wanted to share those three things first. So first thing, meditation. Now, so many people think meditation is a very spiritual, religious, practice that you have to sit in a temple, for hours on end just to really meditate. And it's not. It's the far from it. You guys meditate every single day. You're literally meditating right now by watching me, because meditation is simply a focus on something. It's an awareness and a focus on something that all your visualization and your mind is focused on. And so if you're shopping for shoes and you're focusing on these shoes and nothing else, you're not thinking about your work, you're not thinking about, your girlfriend that might have just yelled at you, you're not thinking about your money in your bank, you're literally looking, do I want this shoe? This or that? This shoe or that shoe, or this is my shoe. That is a meditation. That is a form of meditation, because that focus is now creating that mindset, and that manifestation is that's what you want to happen. And so, meditation is focusing and thinking on something, and it's also visualizing and then experiencing it. And the first thing you want to do also is set an intention on why you're meditating. What is it that you want to get out of your meditations? Is it clarity? Is it more confidence? Is it to realize how imbalanced your emotions are? Is it why are you a quick trigger to some things? Go in with a mindset of what is my intention before I meditate. And, an easy way in a nutshell to think about it is, for me, I obviously find a kind of a safe place, a safe spot, whether it's in the corner of my room, somewhere parked on a car, maybe at a park, just somewhere you can be quiet and still. You want to get comfortable. You want to have good posture. You want to really start with your breath, and you want to be mindful of your breath. And as you be mindful of your breath, you're going to start realizing that, just breathing alone brings you to that present moment. And I think most people are everywhere else but themselves. Society now, especially if you're in the United States, let alone California or Los Angeles or Orange County, life is go, go, go. And that's why people get so caught up with it that they lose themselves. And, ADD, attention deficit disorder, all these different kind of things is pretty much a label to say that you're outside of your body and you're not have gone inwards. And I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what going inwards was, but simply closing your eyes. And the best thing you can do is just be mindful of your breathing. I'd say people breathe 24/7, yet, people forget to breathe. And you can do right now, if you want to do it with me wherever you're watching, close your eyes, sit still. Okay, all you're going to do is take a deep breath in, hold it, and exhale. And you'll notice your shoulders kind of drop. Maybe your jaw releases. Maybe your hands stop clenching. So many of us have tension in our bodies that we have no idea that is there. But by just taking one breath, we feel that tension and we release it, because breath is life and life is breath. And so that's kind of a good way to start. And another way I like to kind of describe and maybe explain meditation is, think of it this way. If you're closing your eyes, and you could do this right now, and you could do a visualization with me real quick. Imagine yourself sitting in a lawn chair right in front of you. So right in front of you, you're sitting in a lawn chair. And now there's a big TV screen or a big movie screen. And you get comfortable, you got your lawn chair and you're sitting down. Now you're being still. Anything that comes up, a thought, an emotion, an image, a sound, maybe a smell, maybe something earlier in the day that someone cut you off on the freeway and it's still bugging you, see that on your movie screen. And just keep watching it and just see what it is. And don't react to it, just kind of sit with it. And kind of see how your body's feeling. Are you getting tense? Are you getting tight? Are you getting stiff? Maybe you're starting to sweat. Maybe you're starting to breathe a little bit deeper. Okay, and what's going to happen is, over time, that movie screen is going to keep going with all these different things that come up. But eventually that movie screen is going to run out of things, because your mind's going to go, okay, I'm tired of creating scenarios in your mind. I'm going to kind of be still and mindful. You've now found yourself. Because, again, all these things that happen in our realities take away our power. We give our energy to it, whether it's your alarm clock first thing in the morning, whether it's the traffic on your way to work, whether it's your spouse, your girlfriend, brother and sister that just keeps pushing your buttons, whether it's someone at the workforce that just didn't get things done and now you're kind of stressed out because you got to do something more. You're giving that power and that energy away, and you're going outward and not inward. And so just kind of like visualizing and seeing a screen and the image is passing. Once it all passes, you've now really found yourself, because your mind's just going to get tired. It's just going to get over it and say, okay, my subconscious, my ego is just now it's breathing. Now it's huffing and puffing, right? And so now that's where you find yourself. And it's very peaceful. And that's why when you really get it down in meditation, a number one thing too is consistency. And I've had a few people just in the last month say, Chris, I've tried meditating, but I can't sit still. I can't stop thinking. I can't do that. And I say, that's exactly why you need to keep doing it until you get to that point where you can focus so much on yourself and your thoughts and what's happening that you're back in control of your vehicle, right? Not losing control of your vehicle. That's where the stress, that's where the chaos, that's where all of a sudden life is happening to you, victim mindset. So just be aware, have good breathing, have good posture, find a good quiet space, and just sit, whether it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you got to do to find your way, to find your inner self where all these other things can slowly just, and it's very, very peaceful, and it becomes contagious and not in a way, I don't want to say the word, but addictive. And you want to be aware that you can enter that state of mind and that state of being 24/7. Meditating just gives you that sneak peek of accessing it, right? And it's like, oh my God, it's like when you get up on your bike for the first time, I rode my bike. I want to keep riding a bike. I want to go buy a bike. I want to go on these hills. I want to go take it out to the park. It becomes that snowball effect. And so it's very, 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 very important. So now, why meditate? Number one, obviously it's better for our health. Overall health, it's been proven in scientific studies that meditation, when you're focusing on something, especially your body, you're able to help with numerous ailments, whether it's something as chronic disease, something as a cold, maybe a headache, a migraine, all these different things. Is your body, remember your body is your subconscious mind, your body's giving you signs, hey Chris, I'm right here, stop giving your mind to someone else who doesn't really care about you. At the end of the day, we think everyone is watching us. We think everybody's has all these expectations on us. We think everyone's trying to pressure us. When in reality, they don't really care at all about you. And I'm not saying that as in a negative way, because what's happening in their perspective, in their reality, they're saying the same thing. If Mike's sitting next to me and he's going, man, what does Chris think about me? Or what does Bob think about me? What does Jessica think about me? This. He lost himself. And I'm sitting next to Mike going, what is Mike thinking about me? And you see how we're all just thinking about each other, but we don't think about each other at all, but we think we are. And I don't know if that's a little mind mess up, but kind of sit with that and kind of connect those dots. And there's a really good documentary. I highly suggest watching it on Netflix. It's called Heal, Heal. And it's a documentary, and there's a lot of people in it, a lot of great people that I've been researching. And they basically describe how the human body can be healed on its own through thought. And there's a guy, write this down if you have a piece of paper, Joe Dispenza. He actually severed his vertebrae in multiple places without surgery. Doctors told him he'd never walk again, never do anything again, he'd be paralyzed for life. Within, I want to say a few months, I don't know how long it was, I got to double check this. He closed his eyes, and for days after day, now this isn't extreme, but just shows this possibility that he literally reconstructed his vertebrae back without surgery, without drugs, without pills, without medication, without therapy, nothing but his mind. And he said he closed his eyes and he visualized his spine, and he visualized doctor's hands putting his spine back together, without actually going into his body. And after, again, I don't know how long it took, it was very short, he was back walking. And you just think the power of the mind, and that goes to the visualization, what we'll talk about next. So also meditation helps sharpen the mind. It helps discipline, self-development, listening, concentration, because those are all things you're doing when you're being able to be still. It's hard for people to be still. People get restless on plane rides. People get restless in traffic. People get restless at work. Oh, start scrolling. Oh, start turning on the TV. Oh, just next commercial. New song. What's next in my schedule? Meeting. It's very hard to just be still because society makes us go. And so be aware of that, and just be aware that when you're sharpening your mind and you're creating these good skills, you're enhancing yourself. Always be aware of your mind and body. Just like ADD and all these things are very kind of becoming such a common thing in society is because life is happening to them and they're not creating their life. Another thing meditation does is really balance you, and it balances your emotions. And what does that mean? There's a word called homeostasis, a word that maybe not many of us have heard about. I've heard of it, but I didn't really know what it means. And just think of it as like a seesaw, right? And so when you have, lust, anger, short-tempered, fear, resentment, stress, jealousy, your seesaw's off balance. So you're all out of whack. Okay, you're not in alignment. Okay. When you balance it with compassion, gratitude, empathy, confidence, love, now you're finding that balance back in yourself, and that's where you can make really good decisions. That's where you can almost get that gut feeling that many of us fear, but we know it's true, but that gut feeling more times than none is going to be right. So trust yourself, really do trust yourself and believe in yourself, but as long as you're in a balanced state with homeostasis, and meditation kind of gets you in there. Meditation has been shown to increase gray matter in the brain, to connect the left and right hemispheres. Obviously, the right side of the brain is more feminine, which is creativity, compassion, open-mindedness, allowing things to flow. Where the left side is where a lot of us do reside, is the masculine. It's the dominant side. It's the logical side. It's the analytical side. It's the ego. It's the comparing. It's the competition. It's I'm better than you. It's either this way or the highway, and we're stuck on that left side. And some people are kind of stuck on that right side. And it's about combining the two to get that balance and that homeostasis, which then you've got crystal clear vision. And there's a thing about opening your third eye, which is your pineal gland. And by doing that, you're able to see things more clearly and more in depth than ever before. And it's very, very powerful. So meditation, find a spot, get comfortable, pay attention to your breath, pay attention of the thoughts, all these different things, whatever you got to do. Call it chilling, you call it whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. Just being with yourself and being at peace with yourself, being aware of the emotions that come up and all these other things. And you've got a good chance of kind of creating that habit every single day. So that's meditation. The next part is just visualization. And again, that ties into it. And for me, being an athlete, visualization is very important because again, what you see in your mind, you're able to, create in your reality. And visualization for me is a tool that you can use that's easily done by closing your eyes and visualizing what you want. Maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a new home, maybe it's financial abundance, maybe it's getting a new opportunity, maybe it's, the girl of your dreams, the guy of your dreams, whatever it might be, you've got to be able to see it first. And this practice, again, it seems so simple and so obvious and so basic, yet almost too good to be true that this can really work and happen. And I was the same. I completely, there was at times where I'm not going to visualize. I already know it's going to happen. And it didn't because I didn't actually see it. But actually I saw it. But another part, you got to feel it. And what do you mean? Well, it hasn't happened. How do you feel it? There's a thing called imagination. There's visualization and imagination. And those are two things that the brain is very good at doing if you tap into it and allow it to. Remember, our brain is, we use about 10% of it. It has got all the information since the day you were born, storing in the subconscious mind and storing in your DNA, that when you activate that and when you bring that to surface and when you dig deep and you go within and you find yourself, you're able to imagine things that you want and visualize things that you want. And once you do that, you're able to create the things that you want. And it's a very powerful tool because look how many things in society is programmed on us to do. It's hard to visualize our life because we feel like our life's already set and our life is what it is and we're just go with the flow. Sure, to an extent, but life is meant to be experienced. Life is meant to be enjoyed and to figure out all the different ways of becoming a better version of yourself and learning in the same process. You're always learning and growing. It doesn't end just because you graduate or do whatever. It's a continual process. So being able to visualize first in your mind and seeing it clearly and also feeling it. So if I'm visualizing financial abundance, if I'm visualizing a new opportunity for my career or for what I do as my job or my work, I'm seeing it, but I'm also feeling it. What does it feel like to get a six-figure check in the mail? What does it feel like when your son or daughter hits a home run in their baseball game and they're ecstatic? How does that make you feel? That's where you start creating that momentum for it to actually happen. And so visualizing and imagining and feeling is what's going to make things go. And so visualization is very, very important. Now, the last thing just wanted to touch base on, and again, maybe a lot of you have heard this stuff and known this stuff, and that's awesome. And I hope you're sharing with others, because right now, with everything going on, we all need each other to help each other. As much as we do our own thing, at the end of the day, we're all connected as one. That oneness. We all, are connected in the same consciousness of Christ consciousness, and we're all tied together some way, shape, or form, energetically, physically, all these different things. So the last part you want to really talk about is perspective, because perspective is pretty much going from here and looking left or looking right, up or down, but still in the same spot. So when you have a perspective on something, you're dialed in, but you're looking at it as a different way. And perspective for me was very important when I associated it with food. Food has been a part of my life that I've used as a crutch, I've used as an emotional escape, I've used as as a tool for me to get to a place. And that was a perspective that really sabotaged myself, because I was putting things in my body that wasn't suiting me. I was consuming things that with that perception of it's going to be very good for me, was actually not. And so now, a lot of people might look at food for taste, and I'm just using this as an example. Something is food for taste rather than as feeling, or food for taste rather than as something as an emotional, like what does it make you feel emotionally? Or if I'm looking at food as, is that really going to help my tummy? Is that going to help my kidneys? Is that going to do this? The food doesn't change. The food is still sitting on the plate, whatever you decide to eat. It's just your perspective and your perception of it is what will actually happen when you ingest it. And so when I look at, say, a piece of food, like a bowl of fruit, some people might look at it as a bowl of sugar. Some people might look at it as a bowl of rainbows. Some people might look at it as a bowl of health. I look at it as a bowl of electricity, as a bowl of life, because fruit has life. And so each one of us has a different perspective, and food is just an example. But when you allow yourself, remember, you have to be open to this. You have to allow yourself to have different perspectives, because that allows you then to pick and choose what timeline you want to live your life on. It's not just a one perspective, my way or the highway. I'm doing this. I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to try anything. I'm not open to learning something because I already know that this is the best. That only gets you so far, because sometimes all you got to do is look to the left and there's $1 million. Look to the right, there's the person of your dreams. Look down, there's the opportunity you've always saw. It's now right in front of you, and all you're doing is changing your perspective. So just kind of being aware of where your head is at, where your mind is at, where your thoughts are going, because where your attention goes, your energy will flow, right? So if your perspective on things, if you're always watching the news and you're always watching, something where it's, police chases, news channels where it's, sexual assaults and all these different things. I haven't put on the news in years. I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV. I don't have cable. I don't watch Netflix. I've found myself to be reading instead, or learning, or meditating, or exercising, or spending time with friends and family in person. But just kind of be aware that what you're putting into your reality is going to create your perception, your perspective of what life's happening. So if I'm watching something that's negative every day, or I'm watching something that's fearful, or a TV show that, again, it's hard because they're fun and they're enjoyable, but remember that that's a programming, and that information and that energy is coming into you unknowingly because you let the door open. You're giving it your attention, and all of a sudden you're perceiving the world as dangerous. You're perceiving the world as being fearful. Your perspective on reality is, oh my gosh, something's going to happen. Oh my gosh, the earth is going to crumble. Oh my gosh, the weather is going to wash away us all. No, it's not. Everything's okay. The earth is still going. The weather's fine. It's just you're getting stimulus from something else that is now affecting your perspective. So you just got to be aware. Awareness. And that's so many things that I like to share, especially on my page, is because I didn't have that awareness. I just went through life as what it was, and I didn't pay attention to things, and it would get the best of me. And I would see myself being anxious, stressed, depressed, confused, comparing, egotistical, all these different things, because I didn't allow my perspective to be expanded. But I was taking in everything around me. I was taking in the energy around me. I was comparing to others. I was, making things worse than what they really are. And now, kind of shutting out all those external stimulus and factors, life is a little bit simpler. It's not full of fear and envy and jealousy. It's full of compassion, love, and gratitude. But that's because I choose to surround myself with it. And that's the perspective I decide to have. And, basically, I want the same for all of you. And having a consciousness, having awareness, realizing that you're alive right now, in this last 30 minutes, thousands of chemical reactions went on in your body. Your brain fired all kinds of neurotransmitters that you don't even know. Your heart must have beat hundreds of times. You probably took hundreds of deep breaths without even knowing. But you're alive and you're living, and you have a mind that works, a heart that beats, a body that moves. And remember, that's just housing your soul. And when you're able to tap into that through meditation, through visualization, through imagination, through a different perspective where you sometimes start seeing the good in things, not always the bad, your life's going to change. And it can happen very fast. And a lot of people think, well, that's going to take forever to do, or I got to keep doing this every single day after day after day. Yes, of course you do. That's consistency, because life keeps going. It doesn't stop. The sun doesn't just decide not to come up one day. It's going to keep coming up. That's consistent. But you just got to be aware that these other things, as you keep implementing them and keep practicing, whether it's, like I said, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, just tapping yourself on the chest, tapping yourself on the head, just feeling your body, taking a few deep breaths. Okay, when life's going crazy, just come back to center and realize that it's okay and it's not as crazy as you think. Okay, just don't give your power away to things. Again, reduce as much TV and radio and all these things that are trying to pull you from yourself. Be mindful, be aware, be conscious, and you'll see a lot more light in things, and you'll feel a lot better too, as if an energetic weight kind of came off your shoulders. So if anybody has any last minute questions, fire away. I'm very thankful that you all decided to be on here and learn, and I'm happy to share these things with you. Meditation has been huge for me. Having a different perspective has been huge for me, and just, visualizing what I want in life. And it's crazy how fast it happens, and I dare you to try it. Wake up tomorrow, say you're thankful for something, sit with yourself for maybe 5 minutes. Don't check your phone. There's no one's going to text you at 6, 7 a.m. And if they do, it's probably they're wanting something, or I don't know. But don't check your phone. Sit with yourself. Take a few deep breaths. Smile. Reaffirm that you're going to have a good day, and just repeat that over and over and over. And that's just going to be the key to everything that's going on with your life. So thank you again. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. Hi.
We have a special guest.
I just wanted to explain what meditation did for me. I grew up with ADHD, or what I thought I had it, and I was overstimulated a lot, and I was on medication for a while for it, and by changing my lifestyle and my diet, that made a huge difference. But I can say that meditation completely changed the game, and it was when I noticed that the outside wasn't affecting the inside anymore. It was my inside affecting the outside, because I couldn't focus. I couldn't, I could, but I couldn't. And I learned that by meditating, I could actually hyper focus now. And he knows when I do it. It's like I can take all my energy and focus it on one thing and like hyper focus it. And that's what, it helps when you're working, when you're interacting with people. Like, the hyper focus is such a gift, and you can teach it to yourself. So That's what I wanted to share.
This is Jilly. She's my partner.
Hi. I was like, I want to be in it.
But anyways, thanks for joining. We'll be I do this every Monday at 8:30, and DM me if there's a topic you want me to talk about. There's just so much I want to cover that I've experienced and I've learned. There's always going to be something new, but whether it's health, wellness, nutrition, hydration, mindset, meditation, mental health, business, financial things, self-development, community, being a part of something, all these different things are topics that we should talk about more, and not always, sports, movies, those things, because we've been talking about them for a long time, and it's now time to bring our power back to ourselves and really go inward and figure out who we are as a person, because at the end of the day, we're all connected. And when we can come together instead of butt heads and disagree and create arguments and conflict, the more holding hands and creating that consciousness that we're all one, it's going to help a lot. So thanks again. You guys have a good night. Share this live with anybody who might benefit from it. Follow my stuff and shoot me a DM if you want to know more and connect with me. So God bless and have a good night.